Greetings, everyone, and welcome. October the 17th, 2025, late afternoon here. President Zelenskyy has just left the White House 1 minute ago. So there was no press conference after the closed portion of the meeting, but Professor Gertis and myself are going to look at the pre-press conference before the closed meeting. So welcome, Prof.
So it would be interesting to see what, to be a fly on the wall and hear what they actually said behind closed doors. But all we have to work with is what they said in that dinner or that lunch beforehand. And so we'll unpack everything. I watched it. You watched it. You voiced over.
No, I subtitled it. So
subtitled thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Make it easier for people.
It's been a long day already.
Yeah, it has been, and it's going to be longer.
So let's get into it.
Let's get in it straight away, but I can tell you there's no comments from Zelenskyy. They're actually in the cars now leaving, and Ukraine, the media I'm following, the analysts I'm following, are expecting a comment from Zelenskyy, even if it's in his evening address, and of course we'll get that to you later in a different video. Here we go. Let's jump straight in, and I'll stop it at logical parts.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to be with a very strong leader, a man who has been through a lot, and a man who I've gotten to know very well, and we've gotten along really very well. And we had a big call yesterday, as you know, with President Putin, and we'll be talking about it. President Zelenskyy of Ukraine has endured a lot. I mean, he really has. He's endured a lot, and we've endured it with him. To be honest, it's been a long time, and I think we're making great progress. So we're going to be talking about that today. We'll be talking about what took place yesterday with my phone call with President Putin. And I think that things are coming along pretty well. It began with Alaska, where I think certain guidelines were discussed, and we want to see if we can get this done.
All right. We're going to start there. And by the way, guys, I have the script in front of me where I've laid out the timestamps. So, Prof, if something really rattles you and you want to say something, just raise your hand. But on that one, I think I've got it logically laid out. You heard two things there. We've endured it together, and Alaska.
Yeah. So we've endured endured it together. No, you really haven't. Like, I mean, Biden probably could make that claim, even though Biden was kind of chased off by nuclear deterrence from Putin. But Trump really can't make that claim. I mean, that's just being fair. You can't really make that claim.
That was. I would draw people's attention to the Alaska statement. He says after Alaska, we have a lot more clarity. Let's
talk about that one.
Okay, that comes from Vladimir Putin. And we even have information coming out yesterday that the Alaska meeting didn't really go so well. Trump got heated because Putin would not get off of his narrative. It's our territory, it's our people, root causes, language, and he wouldn't leave it. So this is the influence on President Trump as we get started.
So you and I were talking about that earlier, like just on the phone, and it's really interesting how much has really come out about Alaska, because after Alaska, there were a lot of people that were in the comments talking, and social media and other things, talking about how, wonderful this was for Putin. It turned out to be kind of disastrous for Putin, and Trump has continued to shift and move more and more toward Ukraine ever since, until last night, since Alaska. And like that was the turning point. And CNN and Financial Times and all kinds of, I talked about this morning, where have laid out like just how bad this was for Putin, where Trump was about to give away the store, and Putin was like, nope, we have to have everything.
Well, the internal media from Russia and Ukraine both came out yesterday confirming each other that really Trump left that meeting angry. And so that's what we have. But listen, guys, we're just getting started. Let's go to minute number 1 here. And here we go.
Back, before I do that, let me just ask the President to say a few words. Thank you, President.
Pleasure. Glad to meet you again, Mr. President. Thank you very much for the invitation. Again, my congratulations with your successful ceasefire in the Middle East.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you did it, and I think this is the momentum.
Let's stop there for a second.
Okay.
this was very wise of Zelensky to do this, to do the flattery that Putin was calling to flatter Trump about by using that as the introductory, the entree into the conversation, right?
Zelensky did
So
it straight
to not
away.
do that would have been like his media chops are so important. I know people are like, oh, he's just a comedian or oh, he was just an actor. You know, Reagan was a great communicator. Like that media experience was what helped him. It's exactly the same thing that's helping Zelensky right now. Spot on.
Well, if you guys are here watching and you've made it this far, 5 minutes into the video, this is going to be a little bit longer one, but you do not want to miss it because many traps were laid for President Zelensky today, and he fell in none of them. I'm going to show you all just he
did a really good job.
Splendid. Let's continue.
Russia's war against Ukraine. I think that, yes, we understand that Putin is not ready. I think not ready, but I think that I'm confident that with your help, we can stop this war. And we really need it. We see that they don't have successful steps on the battlefield, and it's good. I think that their army is weak now.
Yeah, let's talk there.
Hold on, 20
we
more
forget about
seconds.
Losses and in economy and people, and I think this is very important.
Go ahead.
Okay, with your help, that you know, kind of flattering, and then losses on the battlefield. That's probably diffusing Putin's narrative that Ushakov was talking about yesterday about how they have all the momentum on the battlefield and that sort of thing. So diffusing that's important, and then also talking about how bad the economy is. That's the kind of thing that Trump is actually able to hear best. Like he'll register more with that than he will with the battlefield kind of stuff.
Zelensky hit the bullseye, and it's very important. Just here we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And that was for JD Vance.
I think it
Thank
looks
you so
beautiful
much.
in his jacket.
Yeah?
It's a beautiful. I hope people notice. It's actually very stylish. I like it.
All right, so now we've got to go back to the jacket, and we're going to hear about the suit again later from that other reporter. So we've got the suit in
That
there
whole
and a
suit thing
compliment.
was so freaking petty. I mean, it's
stupid. All right, we're going to go next 20-second clip.
President Trump,
Yeah, please go ahead.
Under the Biden administration, the White House was fearing of a possible escalation. They were not allowing the Ukrainians to strike into Russia, fearing of this escalation.
Yeah.
Would your administration allow Ukrainians to strike deep into Russia?
We're going to be talking about that. That's something we'll be talking about. You're right. It's an escalation, but we'll be talking about that.
So there you have it. It's an escalation that's coming directly from anybody that has a logical brain, but that's the Putin Kremlin narrative. If you send a tomahawk, it's over. Our relations are damaged, and it's an escalation.
And he was into strategic ambiguity here. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Not being committed to anything. Okay, nothing wrong there. That's fine.
Let me ask you a question before we get to the next part. How are the relations between Viktor Orban and President Zelensky?
I would think pretty frosty.
And we also know that about 4 or 5 days ago, Orban came out very clearly and said, we want nothing to do with Ukraine, no economy partnerships with Ukraine, no EU for Ukraine, no NATO for Ukraine. That prefaces the next minute and 20 seconds.
Mr. President, Mr. President Zelensky joined you in Hungary to meet President Putin.
Because it's a leader that we like. We like Viktor Orban. He likes him. I like him.
He likes him and I like him. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt it. He refers to Vladimir Putin there, not Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin likes him. I like him.
It's a country.
So before you go on too, before you roll it, Orban is not a conservative. He's a populist and a kleptocrat who, for some reason, I just don't understand, like the MAGA movement have clung onto. And now I get it, like he's pushing back against something. Woke is not the right word, but something that's approximating something lefty-ish, and he's pushing back. But he's not a good guy, and so
he's
if you're
definitely not
on the
pro-Ukraine.
conservative side, like you shouldn't be looking at Orban as being a good somebody that you should want to pal around with. Anyway,
he's a bad guy. He's a bad apple. It's a fact. Politics apart from it. And there's a couple of things you need to understand here, and that is he's anti-Ukraine. He's pro-Putin. He's pro-Trump. All of those are references to Orban. But this statement right here, it's a country that's a safe country. It's not about militaristically safe. It's not about it being safe for President Donald Trump, who can go anywhere in the world he wants. It's about Vladimir Putin having safety to go there because he has an ICC arrest warrant out.
Orban said he wouldn't enforce it.
That's right. Here we go.
A safe country. Done a very good job. He's been a very good leader in the sense of running his country
into the ground.
Doesn't have a lot of the problems that other countries have, and so we've decided that we'll be going to be with Viktor Orban, and he will. I think he'll be a very good host.
President Trump.
Okay, so
it doesn't have a lot of problems other countries have. He has a poverty problem in Europe. He does now. One of the things that he has done is take on immigration, which is like the European Union was just like, hey, if you're in the European Union, you can go anywhere, you can immigrate anywhere, and he has done that successfully. Like that, I think that's part of why they like him. But like.
My point being here
Hungary is
is
the poorest EU member nation state. If
this
I'm
is not about a
mistaken.
trilateral meeting at all, and we're getting ready to hear it. This is the decision that was made by Trump and Putin. And Zelensky himself, to be fair, has said, I'll meet anywhere except Moscow or Belarus. So we'll leave it there. Let's keep going.
President Trump, right here.
It's
President Trump.
Hungary, yeah. We're doing Hungary, yeah.
With Putin. Trilateral meeting, or is it just you and Putin?
To be determined, but I would say most likely it's going to be a double meeting. It'll be a double meeting, but we will have the President, Zelensky, in touch. There's a lot of bad blood with the two presidents, and I'm not speaking out of turn when I say it. It's a very difficult situation. He will. I think that President Putin wants to end the war, or I wouldn't be talking this way. I think he wants to end the war. I spoke to him yesterday for 2.5 hours. We went through a lot of details. He wants to get it ended. I think that President Zelensky wants to get it ended. Now we have to get it done.
All right, so that's where we're at right there. So it's going to be a bilateral meeting, and we will inform President Zelensky of what we talk about.
If he wanted to have it ended, he'd meet with Zelensky instead of having this other one. He's just going to stretch it out with Trump.
That's completely what he's doing. And that's the question that comes at the very end. You're going to hear that.
And it raises his stature, just like Alaska raised his stature.
Oh, it's all about what Putin wants. We're seeing it. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and call this as it is. And in my notes here, I wrote down in parentheses to keep me on task, setup.
President Zelensky
Sure.
of Ukraine.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Our President Zelensky, President Trump, just brokered a peace deal in the Middle East that all Americans, both sides of the aisle, are very proud of. But to meet that deal, both sides had to make concessions. Our president has stuck out his neck in many ways to make a peace deal for your war as well. What specific concessions are you willing to make to end this war with Russia? Will you give up joining NATO? Americans have foreign war fatigue, and our president, as he said, we need our Tomahawks too.
To me.
Yes, you, President Zelensky.
Thank you very much.
That's some question. Right?
So many questions in one. Thank you very much for your question. First of all, I think we need to sit and speak. The second point, we need ceasefire. Even now, you see in the Middle East, it's very difficult to hold ceasefire. Everywhere, in every war, it's very difficult. We want peace. Putin doesn't want. That's why we need pressure on him. We will speak with President today what we need. We understand what we need to push Putin to negotiation table. And as I said previously, so we are ready to speak in any kind of format, bilateral, trilateral, doesn't matter. Matter just peace. This is important. And we don't speak about NATO or NATO. For Ukrainians, it's very important. Of course, it's our decisions of allies to decide where we are.
But are you willing to give up
Yes, but
joining
the
NATO?
most important thing, for people in Ukraine, which are under each day's attacks, to have really strong security guarantees. NATO is the best, but weapon is very important. Allies on our side is very important, and between us, for us, bilateral security guarantees between me and President Trump is very important.
All right. That's the end
So
of that portion. Complete setup.
Yeah, he was
bro.
on message. This is what you call it. You're being on message.
Mhm.
And the idea is, and I've heard this from a number of politicians talking about, like, you answer the question you want to answer. You don't answer the question that was asked. What the questioner asked, the journalist who asked this question, was like trying to give away the store. Zelensky didn't do this. And what he did was answer the thing that Trump wanted all along, and that he agreed to, what, 180 days? I don't even know how long ago it was. How long ago was it? It was back in, like, what, April, March, something like that. Okay, so like, we want a ceasefire. That's the thing. And so he answered masterfully. But
He
yeah,
nailed it.
she was setting him up for real problems. Like,
She's-
you just can't answer that ahead of time.
Okay. Another hint, guys. If you hear 15 minutes into this video, don't leave. Why did I write a setup, or you even hear from Prof. Goddard that that was a setup? Well, it's obvious, but there's a reason, because in a little bit, you're going to hear President Trump call the Ukrainian reporter a setup. So this is the game going on, and I think it's a fair call. All right, here we go. The next piece, about 30 seconds here. This is from Ducey, Fox News.
President Trump, you are the middleman right now, hoping to end this conflict. Who is doing a better job negotiating, President Zelensky or President Putin?
I think they're both doing a great job in that sense. We have to get it done. We've got to take some of the hatred of each other. You know, they don't like each other. I say that in front of President Zelensky, but I say it in front of President Putin too. They have tremendous bad blood. It's really is what is holding up, I think, a settlement. I think we're going to get it done, and we have to make it long-lasting.
All right. So they're both doing a good job negotiating, but there's bad blood.
Yeah,
Hello?
I mean,
Hello? You're dropping bombs right now, potentially 500 shaheeds tonight. And I'm watching my analyst I follow. 500 shaheeds potentially tonight in the air. So why would there be bad blood? Ukraine
how much of a
didn't attack
monster would
Russia.
Yeah, how much of a monster would Zelensky be if he didn't care about the people dying in his own country right now? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, they call him a dictator that doesn't care, that's all about him. Like, no, if he didn't have that bad blood, like that would be a sign of being a sociopath or something, or psychopath. I'm not sure which path it is, where you have no emotions, whichever that character. Yeah, I mean, of course there's bad blood, but the frame here is a little off. It's not just bad blood. Both sides have bad. Putin's the proximal cause of what's going on. I mean, it's not Zelensky trying to invade Russia. It went the other way around. So,
well, I'll tell you this as well. You're getting ready to experience now Volodymyr Zelensky avoid another trap. And he does amazing.
When we were in Israel with President Trump earlier in the week, we heard a lot about the difference in diplomacy between President Trump and President Joe Biden before him. What do you see as the biggest difference in diplomacy between President Trump and President Biden?
President Trump has a big chance now to finish this war. President Biden now is not the president, so he doesn't have a chance to finish this war. And President Trump is really showed for the world that he can manage ceasefire in Middle East, and that's why I hope that he will do this, and we will also have such big success. For Ukraine, it's a big chance, and I hope that President Trump can manage it.
Brilliant.
yeah, when we watched this the first time, my daughter was eating lunch in my office with me watching it, and we had a good laugh at that. Biden is no longer in office,
He's no longer
so he
the
can't
president.
do it.
Brilliant answer. He didn't fall for the trap. And you could see, guys, if you're watching this, back the video up. Trump's really looking at him closely. He wants to hear this answer. And Zelensky does a great job. Now, this is a good one. This is about the New York-Ukraine borders.
Sir, a few weeks ago in New York, when you two met, you said that you think Ukraine could ultimately take back all the territory that it's lost so far. Do you still think that's the case, or do you think there'll have to be some sort of
You
swap
never
of
know.
territories?
Look, you know, war is very interesting. You never know, do you? You just never know. With war and peace, but you never know.
War and Peace, the novel written by Leo Tolstoy. Now, on the other side of that, you have...
No, don't run off.
I'm
Hold
not
on.
running off. You have a complete shift.
This is good to hear him say you never know, because he was ready to give away the store not too long ago. So, like, this is an improvement over what it was before.
Fair enough. But that is, if that's the strongest thing he could say in this situation, okay, but it is not... Ukraine can win this war. Ukraine can take their borders. In fact, they can go into Russia territory if they want to. They're a strong army.
Yeah.
You know, war's tough.
It's not great. However, it is a shift for Trump, who had a mindset that the Russians were just rolling all over Ukraine before this, and now is like, I don't know.
Once again, fortunately, Zelensky today is getting the last word. The call with Putin was yesterday, and Zelensky gets the last word today. So that is a positive.
Yeah.
Peter Ducey, Fox News, Tomahawks.
Please.
Russia calls Tomahawk supply to Ukraine as an escalation, yet it continues using similar cruise missiles like Caliber. And
Who are you with? Who are you with? You Ukraine?
Yeah.
Good.
But Russia continue even using the cruise missiles and also nuclear-capable ballistic missiles in Ukraine since 2022. So do you consider providing Ukraine with the Tomahawk or similar missiles as an opportunity to equalize the possibilities of Ukraine and Russia and push Moscow to the negotiation table?
Sure. We're going to be talking about that. That's why we're here. Okay? Fair question. Exactly as he told you to say it, but we're going to be talking about it.
This is why, and of course, that wasn't Peter Ducey. Ducey's coming up next. That was a Ukrainian reporter. And right there, you're asking this question just like Zelensky told you to ask.
Yeah, you picked up on that too, huh?
Of course. That's why I'm saying there were, I know that question from that lady in the red dress was a setup. There's no question. Zelensky passed it with an A+. The Biden-Trump question was a setup. And now Trump calling out that question as a setup.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's Ducey. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, of course, everybody wants to know that. It doesn't mean that Zelensky was behind it or anything. That's what everybody who's viewing this wants to know. Are Tomahawks coming?
That's what it's supposed to have been about today. Actually, overwhelming high possibility that they were coming before the call last night.
President Trump, if you okay Tomahawks to Ukraine, what's going to happen if the United States is in a conflict and we need the Tomahawks? Do we have enough?
That's a problem. We need Tomahawks, and we need a lot of other things that we've been sending over the last 4 years to Ukraine. We've been, we gave them a lot. Now we have a different situation. We send it to the European Union. They pay for it and all that, and they have plenty of money. But it's beyond the money. We need Tomahawks, and we need a lot of other weapons that we're sending to Ukraine. One of the reasons we want to get this war over is exactly that. It's not easy for us to give. You're talking about massive numbers of very powerful weapons. So that's one of the things we'll be talking about. Hopefully they won't need it. Hopefully we'll be able to get the war over with without thinking about Tomahawks.
All right. Very simple. Tomahawks aren't going to Ukraine anytime soon.
Well, it's an interesting way of shifting it. Yeah, we hope to get it over before they need it, but that doesn't mean. So that's a way of saying we're not going to actually do it without saying we're not going to actually do it.
Now,
it's just kind of clever, but go ahead.
Now, in my next little notes here, Zelensky takes the world to school. Okay. And now you made me think about something in your analysis there. Trump just said, hopefully they won't need Tomahawks. And you can make a synonym, Zelensky will, a Tomahawk or other strong missiles. But Zelensky's getting ready to answer what Trump just stated and it's
Mhm.
brilliant. Here you go.
Mhm.
This one's a couple of minutes long. Unbelievable. He nailed it.
I think we're
Can I-
I think
can
we're
I-
fairly I think we're fairly close to that. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I
President,
say,
yeah, please.
just to understand. So for today, of course, we want to finish this war, but the war is another technological war. You don't use just tomahawks. If you want to target a military goal, you need thousands of drones. It goes together with such missiles. Ukraine has such thousands of our production drones, but we don't have tomahawks. That's why we need tomahawks. But United States is a very strong production, and the United States has tomahawks and other missiles, very strong missiles, but they can have our thousands of drones. That's why where we can work together, where we can strengthen American production.
And so just so that I understand, so you're suggesting kind of a trade. If President Trump okays Tomahawk missiles to help you launch
Yes, it's
into
about
Russia,
military goals. It's
you
only
would
about
let-
military goals.
Right, but then you would authorize some kind of an exchange where
Yes, of course.
the U.S. gets
Yes, we
Ukrainian-
have proposition. Yeah,
And
we have big proposition
President-
with our drones.
President Trump, I don't mean to be brokering an arms deal here, but is that something that you would be interested in, Ukrainian drones?
We are, yeah, we would. We have a lot of drones right now. We build our own drones, but we also buy drones from others, and they make a very good drone. I mean, drone warfare has really come to the fore over the last couple of years because of this war. So we're going to be talking about Tomahawks, and would much rather have them not need Tomahawks. Would much rather have the war be over, to be honest, because, we're in it to get the war over. We're selling a lot of different types of weapon, as you know, to the European Union. We're not in it for that. We're in it to get it over. We're losing thousands of people a week, thousands of people, Russian, Ukrainian, and mostly soldiers. I mean, mostly soldiers. But we're in it to see that end. And if we can end.
So there you have it. Zelensky told the world just there how warfare takes place. It's not just a tomahawk. It's combination strikes. This is why Russia's strikes are so effective on Ukrainian electrical infrastructure right now. They combo the attacks. And Ukraine wanting the ability to do the same. Drones is not the problem. And I think what was very good here on the Trump side was he says, yeah, we're interested in Ukrainian drones. They make a good drone. So I'll take that as a positive.
Yeah. So I want to point out the language because I wrote this down. Zelensky said they can have our drones, not they need our drones, like denigrating the U.S., but yeah, they can have this for the Tomahawks. Yeah, we very much interested in this. So,
well, I know,
again, masterful, like didn't misstep throughout this. It was brilliant.
In his third language.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that, guys, in his third language. Now, I'll tell you, I'm watching all the Ukrainian stuff on a screen over here. We've got no comments from Zelensky as of yet, and we're 28 minutes into this video. Now, Trump comes back, talks about the good talks yesterday with Putin. So let's listen to this.
Quickly, and I think we can. I mean, I had a very good talk yesterday. We're going to be talking about it. But I had a very productive talk yesterday with President Putin. We'll see what happens.
President Zelensky, this is your third time over here.
Oh.
And by the way, you look excellent.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Good
you.
suit for you, by the way. This is your third time here. How different sitting across from the president is this time versus the two previous times here at the White House? And how confident are you hearing the success rate of solving these prior wars that he can get this war solved?
First of all, about suit. The same suit because the same president. It's very simple. The next president will have another suit.
I have to pause there. Everybody in that room who thinks that he's a dictator and there's not going to be any elections and he's just there to be forever, he just made a brilliant statement. This is my suit. The next president, and he meant of Ukraine, will have a new suit. Great.
I let the suit one pass. This guy up here who's asking a question, what a butt just raising that suit thing again.
Did you just say butt?
Yeah.
I think we use
I mean,
the word derriere.
that's as foul as I get.
Well, it's definitely
So,
not as
but
foul
I mean,
as
it
the
was
last
it
word
was really
Trump
kind of a
said
jerk move.
today.
For, huh?
It's not as foul
Yeah,
as
it
the
was
last word.
kind of
I'll not be playing it.
What word?
When Trump
I
dropped
didn't
the
say anything.
F-bomb at the end.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, well, okay. So,
Never mind.
he shouldn't have brought this up. He shouldn't have brought it up the first time. He's making himself the story, and he knows it. And
Absolutely.
like that, it's just,
It's
yeah.
a clown. Let's continue with this one.
Yes, about our relations with President Trump, I think we have important dialogues, and I think we begin to understand each other. Yes, and I know that President is briefed very well about situation in the battlefield, and he knows a lot what's going on the battlefield in Ukraine, and I think it really helps when you know a lot of things, a lot of details about one or another war. It helps a lot, but we are still in war.
The Ukrainian people are great, and the Russian people are great. And obviously, they have much in common, as we understand. They have a lot in common.
So we'll leave it there. Zelensky doing masterful job again, complimenting President Trump, but still getting his statement across. And then, of course, Trump just starts talking about how great everybody is.
He did make sure to thank him earlier on. J.D. Vance is sitting off to Trump's right. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway.
So it'll be a great honor to get it done. Yeah.
On Putin, is it your belief, as Mr. Zelensky said yesterday, that the threat of tomahawks and costs, as Secretary Hicks put it, is that bringing him to the table, the fact that it's kind of a carrot and stick?
I don't know what's bringing him to. I think he wants to make a deal. But they're a very dangerous weapon, and it could mean big, escalation. It could mean a lot of bad things can happen. Tomahawks are a big deal. But one thing I have to say, we want tomahawks also. We don't want to be giving away things that we need to protect our country. We have a very strong country right now. We have a strong military. We have the greatest military in the world. We have
Okay, greatest weapons in the world. So once again, we're coming back to, I think, the theme of the day in regard to tomahawks. We need them.
Mm-hmm.
We need them.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to move.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Go
just
ahead.
a way of getting out of it. I mean, that's what that amounts to, I think.
We're going to move now to the last two topics, and very interesting. One's about the tunnel, and he asks Zelensky about the Putin-Trump tunnel or bridge. Just not necessary, but that's my opinion.
the greatest weapons in the world. I want to get this war over.
Putin-Trump tunnel to connect Russia and Alaska. Are you interested?
I just heard about it. A tunnel from Russia to Alaska. I just heard about that one. That's an interesting one. We'll have to think about that. I hadn't heard that. We just did a nice road in Alaska that's going to get us to a lot of minerals, and we have a piece of it, a good piece of the ownership because of the fact we made it possible. But this came up yesterday, a tunnel from Russia to Alaska. That's an interesting. What do you think of that, Mr. President? Do you have any ideas? How do you like that idea?
I'm not happy with this.
I don't think you're going to.
I'm not happy with this idea. So I wanted you guys to be able to hear that. And it's just unnecessary, guys. There will never be a tunnel or a bridge connecting Siberia to Alaska. Why? Because cars do not drive in that region of Russia. There's not even a road, hardly, guys. It's just ridiculous. All right, let's go to the last piece here. And I think this is key question. And this is before he ended it and dropped the F-bomb and went to the next closed door meeting. And I don't play that part. So here we go.
I don't think he liked it. I don't think he liked it.
On your meeting with Putin, aren't you concerned that maybe the Russian president is trying to buy himself more time?
Yeah, I am. But, I've been played all my life by the best of them. And I came out really well. So it's possible, a little time.
Is your gut instinct
it's all right. But I think that I'm pretty good at this stuff. I think that he wants to make a deal. I made 8 of them. I'm going to make a 9th. I think he wants to make a deal.
Do you consider Russia to be a paper tiger? Do you think, judging by the state of its economy,
Well, I think that he should have won the war in a week. Yeah, I do think. And if we didn't give the anti-tank missiles, as you know, the javelins they call them, they got stuck in the mud. They would have been in Kiev very quickly. They were heading to Kiev. So, in war you have a lot of luck too. People, weather has won war, and the cold and the heat and all things.
That's the end of it, guys. He ends there, and they go to their closed meeting, and there's still no results of that. But I will tell you, I speak Russian, working on my Ukrainian, and I know, and I'm not throwing, this is how most people in the world say it, but to sit across from the president and of the
Kiev
country and say, we should have lost the war in a week, and it was my javelins that saved your rear. No, it wasn't. It was the spirit of Ukrainians that rallied together when they finally figured out that Russia's coming and bringing hell with them. That's what saved Ukraine. Javelins only helped, but that did not save Ukraine. You can put that into the bank, but at least have a little bit of knowledge that if you say Kiev, like Kiev, it is the most disrespectful way that you can call.
So it's an interesting thing that he chose to still pronounce it Kiev. Now that could just be that he's,
No, that's the
not
Russian way.
paying enough
That's
attention.
Russian way.
But I think I know it's the Russian way. It could be that he's not paying attention, or it could be that he's intentionally doing it. I don't know which it is. But either way, it's a diplomatic faux pas. Stuck in the mud. I don't know who told him this. Like who was advising that was what was happening. But after he said it the first time, a couple months back, there were all these pictures on social media about the tanks on the roads and the tanks being destroyed because they just got hammered along the way. And the javelins, he likes to take the victory lap for something he barely did. He did do it. He did provide it, but
I'm going to move us to an
he's
image
taking credit.
right now. And we'll close out, guys. And I'm telling you, there's still nothing, and I'll check it again, but this Ukraine is picking up on this. This is just a sideline, just for fun for you guys. Ukraine picking up on this, Prof. This is Hegseth today at the meeting, sitting there, and he's wearing the Russian colors of the tie the same way, and that's just, they're picking up on everyth's. So
yeah,
anyway.
but it's also red, white, and blue, which is America's colors, so you can't really
I
make
understand
a thing out of
it.
that.
You saw Times of Ukraine right there. They're watching everything. Remember, they're the nation that is at war. We're not.
Yeah, I
So
understand. I'm just saying,
they view
look,
it.
there's enough to have problems with than to create problems where they may or may not exist. So I saw that and I decided to skip it.
Okay, so we're finishing up recording this update on the press conference at 4:42 Eastern Standard Time, and as of 1 minute ago, there are microphones set up across the street from the White House, and Ukraine is expecting Zelenskyy to make some statements momentarily. So we'll end it there, and you'll look for the next update on the next one. If you haven't subscribed to Prof. Gertis, you're on my channel. Make sure you go check his out, and vice versa.
And this is going to be what we've just covered. You understand everything that's been there. This is about the most comprehensive review that you were going to get about what happened. So
yes,
there will be more forthcoming as other statements are being made, but you can be pretty sure that we both watched it. He cut out all the fat and then subtitled. So thank you for that, Greg. That was very helpful, and I'm sure that viewers appreciate that.
I get a lot of comments from people whose language, English, is their second language in different countries. And they go, man, thank you for putting those titles. That helps me nail it. So you're very welcome to all of you. And listen, to everybody around the world that watches these videos and updates and partners with us to help Ukraine and fundraisers, it's about you and coming together as a grassroots effort, really. And we say thank you. So we'll be back at you.
Can I leave you with one awesome comment?
Lay it on us.
Okay. So on social media, Ilya Ponomarenko said this: after the war, Zelenskyy will write a book about how he managed to keep his ironclad composure without punching anyone in the face with those questions, and it'll sell millions of copies.
Well, if you want to talk about memes, a buddy of mine in Ukraine sent me a little AI generated. I would never share it because I always want my stuff to be factual. But he sent me a video and he says, Greg, Zelensky's getting ready for tomorrow. And it was a little midget Zelensky, and he was about 1 feet tall. And he's sitting there with like the Karate Kid, and he's in his room getting all ready for the meeting today. So, hey, you have to have humor, and it's good. So thank you guys. Be blessed, and we'll be back at you soon.